We are live. Welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. Dean, I was thinking about starting with my middle finger up and then doing the whole BBC thing, but I thought,
oh, mate, should have.
How are you?
No, I'm not good, mate. I'm not good. I'm fed up. I nearly deleted the app. I didn't even look at my team until 2 minutes ago because I knew it was rubbish. I think it might be worse than I thought it was.
You got loads of flags as well as low points.
Yeah, I got 3
there's loads
flags.
of flags. Yeah,
got 3 flags. I've got. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get the lads in for some extra training in the morning, and
double sessions.
we're going to be doing some double sessions. There's talk in the paper about my team trying to impose player power and force me out for the decisions I'm making. Palmer and Maguire on the bench. People can't understand why I would do that and have 13 points on the bench, and my team total was 22. Yeah, we got all sorts going on. I feel like I'm getting a taste of what it is like to be Erik ten Hag in his worst moments, to be honest with you. I've got 2 transfers available to me this week. I might make 10.
Lucky you rolled, though. To be fair, having 2 available this week feels like the week you definitely want 2 free transfers with all the flags.
Yeah, it does with my team. Yeah,
I'm taking a hit because I don't have 2 free transfers, but boy, do I need to make at least 2 transfers.
How many points did you get?
Oh, 36, 7, around that. Yeah,
that's a good week.
I actually got a small green arrow, 37. But
37.
As always, you go, oh, it should have been so much better. And I don't know. I mean, I had double Newcastle defence. Like I bought in Dubravka, I had Lascelles, and I'm watching that Everton game going, Newcastle lucky, but Newcastle keep riding their luck. Like look at the XG they conceded against AC Milan and PSG. And anyway, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, big shot, huge shot, miss of the season in the first half.
Yeah.
And at 85 minutes, they're on for a clean sheet. I'm thinking I've got Dubravka clean sheet, Lascelles clean sheet, bonus points, and then they concede 3. That hurt.
That must have hurt. That must have hurt. I mean, bad enough me getting rid of Martinelli before 2 weeks ago, and then seeing him finally score, which I knew was going to happen. Like, obviously, Martinelli's going to score at some point again. You've got to take that. But deciding to go double Arsenal defence against Luton, thinking I was reasonably safe.
Yeah.
And David Raya turns into a clown.
Is he vulnerable?
Yeah. What, to losing his spot?
Yeah.
I don't know, because
or is Arteta just like, this is my guy? Like, because you've got him in FPL. Do you feel like there's any vulnerability?
I think I'm going to get rid of him, mate. I think I'm going to get rid of him. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get rid of him straight away, especially as I don't trust this team against Villa now.
So I like that pickup. I liked your Raya transfer a few weeks ago.
I thought it was great. I thought right, no more Palace double defence. We get double Arsenal defence. That seems all right. I mean, Palace defence still would have been a shambles, but
the lesson learned is don't double up on defence. Like no one's keeping clean sheets, are they?
No, that is a good point. Yeah, that was the point. Double defence. Yeah, no, Newcastle will be a waste of time. Palace, Arsenal, it doesn't really matter right now where you're going in terms of that. Yeah, I just prefer real football at the moment, mate. I've got, as people have mentioned there, I've got some boots for my birthday. So
did you?
Yeah. The kids got me some Nikes. They're nice, actually. And
I missed that. Was that on Insta? I completely missed it.
Now.
Usually I see your stories.
Yeah, you can still catch it.
And, I'm looking at them now, mate. I'm going to look at them now.
I catch it because I took them out for their first spin yesterday. It was my birthday a few days ago. But it was the first time I could take him out last night. So my 5-year-old was filming me as I ran onto the turf for the first time to give you their debut outing. Rather than just be walking around the house with my jeans.
I love that you put them on with jeans.
The kids wanted to see what they look like. I was like, not great. Is
that a shirt as well?
No, it's a t-shirt.
And the white socks. That is some look, mate.
Oh, mate, what a look. And then, so I took him onto the Astro. Nice boots, yeah. Stuck Dylan in goal, just smashed a few past him. Started to get a bit annoyed, so I just give him a chance.
How do you do that when you've got your kid in goal, like your 5-year-old? Really? Do you just you go light into the corners, or you can't blast anything, can you?
You have to last. You have to. Well, you do sometimes.
It's like catching the ball and ends up in the net.
You chip a few, and he makes a few saves, and then you just bend one into the top corner. And he to be fair, he loves it when it goes in the top bag. So that's all good. And Fulham won 5-0. Of course, it's the one game this season I didn't go to. So yeah, I didn't go and we scored 5 goals, but yeah, positive signs there. Is Raul becoming an option now? Says Colm. Did well. He did well. Don't think
He's
I want him
cheap.
in my team. He's cheap. Yeah. If I was going to go for a Fulham asset, I might be tempted to more go like Robinson. He's having a good time of things right now. He's always
Yeah, Fulham are keeping clean sheets, to be fair.
Like we scored 11 goals in 3 games. We've started to lock things up a bit. Obviously, we conceded 4 against Liverpool, but 4 well did. So yeah, I mean, it's away from FPL. My life's going pretty well, mate.
Well, that's all that matters. That's all that should matter. That's all that should matter. In terms of FPL, though, it's more topical than ever because we've had such a quick turnaround. It's like we're reacting to yesterday, but we're also setting ourselves up for what looks like what should be a high-scoring game week. So we've got to talk captaincy later in the show. We've got to address some of the injury news. And actually, yes, there's press conferences today, but we also got the post-match reaction. And I've got a few little nuggets, more from my team, because for selfish reasons, I was like, I need to know about some of these guys. So first up, Burmo, we know, is weeks, not days. Lascelles went off. I'm watching him going, he landed a bit awkwardly. Eddie Howe said post-match, I don't think it's a serious one. It looks like a dead leg. But dead legs can still miss a game 2 days, 3 days later. Yeah. There's else in my team. I've got Matty Cash, who again is a sell, like dropping in price all the time. Not in the 11. And then injuries now to potentially Son, who again on Spurs TV last night, as if I had to watch that to get some quotes. He spoke and he said, I had a big kick in my back. I don't have time to assess it. We'll see. And then Postecoglou said, I don't know. I'm not sure in terms of his availability. And what makes matters even worse, last night, I made an early transfer. Porro came into my team because Matty Cash was dropping in price.
Yeah.
All the predictors said Matty Cash was dropping in price. Did he drop? No, he didn't. I could have waited till today. Yeah. And I've woken up this morning to see Pedro Porro, the guy I signed, was seen limping around the Spurs stadium last night.
Oh, mate.
So I'm hoping Porro's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a good get as well at the moment in the Tottenham team. Sonny, you'd assume, like, not a lot keeps that lad out. Like, he's a resilient player. Yeah. And you see Richarlison miss that header. I'm not saying it was easy. It wasn't easy, but... Yeah, Richarlison needs to make that work. Without Son, Tottenham are looking at another defeat. So... Really, really strange times at Tottenham because they're really not doing that badly. But it looks like they are, and it looks like they're falling off a cliff when it must be a tough time to be a fan, especially to take a defeat at home to West Ham, who are looking so interesting. Jarrod Bowen is just like jumping off the page at me like every week. He's now the 3rd top scorer in the Premier League with 9, 7 away goals. This is a player he's signed that. I can't believe he signed that contract that sizes him up till 2030. He's signed up to at West Ham. He's 26.
Danny Dyer had a word.
He's 26. That's it. He's spending the rest of his career at West Ham unless you want to spend £100 million on Jarrod Bowen, and I can't see anyone going there. I think Bowen's a really good buy at the moment. Obviously,
Burmo replacement. Then you reckon? Do you have him top of your list from Burmo replacements? He plays.
I think Fulham, I might, mate. Plays
Fulham, then Wolves.
Yeah, 2 good fixtures, aren't they? Especially when you look at Bowen's away form. I think that Bowen's almost a must-have at the moment. Gordon's obviously rising, like Lewis says. There's up to 6.1 now. I didn't realize he got as high as that.
Yeah, he went up last night again.
Wow, like that is one of the biggest rises of the season we're seeing from him. Sean says Sterling is tasty. I mean, mate.
The fixtures are there for Raz.
Yeah, but Chelsea are rubbish, mate.
I know, and we're going to lose to Everton.
Honestly,
I can't see how Chelsea win that.
I can't see. I just can't see. I mean, look, Chelsea have been inconsistent and they have pulled out performances a few times when you're not expecting it. But that was shambolic against Man United. The structure of the team just isn't there. There's some real big worries. I mean, and Nkunku is in and around this team now.
Yeah.
You think we're going to see him soon? Got him.
Yeah. I think this weekend we might see him on the bench. Now, I guess Poch has been reluctant just to put him on the bench for the sake of it. So it's you're on the bench and you're going to get 10 minutes. The first time we see him on the bench, he's going to get 10 minutes. Whether or not that's this weekend or the weekend after, I don't know. I mean, there is a Carabao Cup game to Newcastle coming up as well. Yeah. And I did wonder if that's seen as more of an experimental game. But for Chelsea, the Carabao Cup feels more equally as important as any league game at the minute because it's that's our chance for some silverware. Like Man City are out of that.
Yeah, you can't get above 10th in the league. So it's not going to be happening. I mean, that's the new top of the league for Chelsea these days. Honestly, I mean, I I find it incredible the way you guys have fallen off in the last 2 years. Like, it is ridiculous to go from winning the Champions League to being this.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. There's no rectifying it right now. I don't really. People keep asking about Reece James.
No, you can't.
I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't touch it.
If he'd played 90 against Everton, then fine. Like my plan this week was Matty Cash out, Reece James or Porro in, and I said I'm going to use the midweek fixtures to scout Porro and James. And at the time, I was like, James is probably 60% likely, Porro 40%. Well, having watched the midweek fixtures, I'm 100% Porro and 0% Reece James. Like he's not fit enough to play 90 minutes, let alone 3 games in or 2 games in a week.
No, he's not
Porro
trustworthy. Yeah, and form-wise, Reece isn't at it either.
True.
I have to say, I'm not sure about the decision to make him captain as well. I think that's looking a worse decision as the weeks roll by. And
Liv was surprised by that, weren't she? We asked her on this show, didn't we, at the start of the season?
True.
And she was not tipping Reece, was she? She was like, she thought maybe Thiago, but I think Chilwell she mentioned, who got the vice.
She did, yeah. Look, Reece just hasn't got a personality that you can inflict on a team. As someone said to me the other day, he's a bit of an introvert.
Yeah.
Like, he's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
Like, Reece James is genuinely a lovely bloke. And obviously, like, the fact he's rooted in Chelsea and he's got an identity that the fans can relate to as being part of the club, I think helped him. He's obviously one of the best players too. Helps him get the edge. But really, captain material, as you would traditionally have it down. Cole Palmer's probably still the only Chelsea player I want. He's the only one I've got, so that's handy. But yeah, going into that next game at Everton, obviously it can get a result, but given that Everton have just produced that result and what you've just seen from Chelsea, I think it's almost logical to back Everton.
Yeah, I think I would be. And a lot are asking about Colwell in the chat. Colwell was made Chelsea captain for the game against in the week against, who did we lose to? Can't even remember. We've just been talking
Man United.
Yeah, Man United. God, my worst one.
Your favourite team, right?
Yeah, all my mates are United fans. See them this weekend. That'll be fun. I don't know. I still wouldn't go near a Chelsea defender yet. Let's give them a game or two and then jump on. I know the fixtures are there for Chelsea, but at the moment, this Chelsea team looks like they're not going to pick up points and they're going to concede goals. Porro, I know we usually do a bonus beast feature on a Monday. If we were doing one today, Porro would be in it. He got 2 bonus points last night, despite conceding 2 goals, which is a massive red mark against the defender in the BPS, and picking up a yellow card, which is a massive red mark in the BPS. And he only got 1 attack in return, an assist. He still picks up 2 bonus. Pedro Porro is going to pick up points even when Spurs concede. Like, they concede 2 and he walks away with a 5-pointer. On another day, he scores. And he's going to score goals. Like, I want to be there for when Porro scores goals. And the Spurs fixtures aren't bad. Like, I can't see Newcastle scoring many against Spurs. Newcastle away lost 2-0 to Bournemouth and 3-0 to Everton in the last 2 Premier League away games.
Yeah. No, it's true. I was looking at fixtures to target this weekend. Like, what can I do here? And I think the two obvious teams to target this weekend will be Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. So Nottingham Forest, Steve Cooper potentially with his job on the line here.
Right.
And you think, right, they've just lost 5-0 to Fulham. They've given up. They were poor, Nottingham Forest, obviously. And, Fulham, I think they scored 6 home goals all season. They scored 5 in one game against them. Certainly haven't scored many goals all season at home. They're now going to a Wolves team. Mate, at home, Wolves are really good.
Are they?
Like, Wolves run of results. When you look at what they're getting here, they just beaten Burnley 1-0. The game before that at home, Wolves beat Tottenham 2-1 with those 2 late goals. Before that, 2-2 with Newcastle at home, 1-0 with Aston Villa at home, and before that, they beat Man City 2-1 at home. Like, their home form is really good.
Yeah.
I can't see Wolves letting up here. And actually, so I'm like, okay, which way am I going to go on this? Do I want a Wolves defensive option, or am I just going Hwang? Is Hwang a guy that I'm actually looking at?
He's been amazing, hasn't he?
I think, like, talk about Mbemo, I need to check his value, what Hwang is, but I'm guessing
like 5.8 or something.
He's there, isn't he? He's got to be. We're talking about Jarrett Bowen as a replacement. I think Hwang has to be on that list as well.
Yeah.
And then Crystal Palace, obviously, Roy Hodgson under some danger this weekend.
Oh, is he? Do you think that's a thing then? Like, I know Roy's been so good in the past, but do you think the ownership there are getting sick of those performances, and he is possibly a bit vulnerable going into the festive period?
It's not really that. It's not that they don't have faith in Hodgson and don't want to stick with him, because they really do want to stick with him. They don't want to change manager. But the one guy that Crystal Palace really like as the successor to Roy Hodgson is Steve Cooper.
Yeah.
So if Steve Cooper loses his job at the weekend, it forces Crystal Palace to make a decision right, do we activate this now and bring everything forward and actually move on from Roy Hodgson? Because if you look at Crystal Palace's fixtures, I mean, their results haven't been good. I mean, they've had the win against Burnley at the start of November is the only win they've had in their last 7 games.
Ooh.
And you look at their fixtures coming up: Liverpool, Man City, Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford. That's Crystal Palace's December. That is awful.
They're not picking up more than 3 points there, are they?
Like, given the form that they are currently on, like Palace at the moment, they have a reasonable cushion of 7 points to the bottom 3. But you can see that being down to like 3 points by the time we get to the end of that run. And that's not a good spot to be in. So Palace do want to stick by Hodgson, but let's see, because if Palace do lose to Liverpool, which you would expect, I mean, Palace will try and keep that tight, and it might not be a massive scoreline, but I don't expect Palace to win. And then if Forest lose, we could see a couple of changes.
I had a friend from Spain over in the week, and he was like, I want to go to a football game in London. I was like, midweek football in London. Okay, you can probably get tickets, that one. Go to Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth. What a terrible football match for sat with the Palace fans as his first experience of football in London.
Must have been quite poisonous. Yeah, I mean, Palace fans will be fed up right now. I mean, it's been a boring season. They've had barely anything to cheer about. They've had all their best players are getting injured. So he lost Zaha at the start of the season. It's a tough one for them because they've got these big plans as well for a new the stadium to be redeveloped. I don't know if you've seen the pictures.
Yeah, it looks great. That big main stand.
The plans look amazing. And that's why they're not really wanting to spend money, because they want to invest heavily in the stadium and then save their cash, get the new manager in the summer, and then invest in the new boss and the new squad then. I don't know whether it's going to be feasible, mate. I don't know if it's going to be feasible. So we'll wait to see. But yeah, I think they're the two teams to potentially target. I mean, I've got Luis Diaz and Salah.
Yeah. Does that mean you're considering Salah captain, though?
I mean, he's been captain, I think, for the last 2 weeks for me, after saying I wouldn't take the armband off of Haaland. I mean, given Haaland fixtures, I just can't really come away from him. Like Man City, it's the type of game, Luton away, that you're just expecting them to
get reaction.
They could go and win 8-0.
Yeah.
They
got the best away attack in the league, Man City. I looked at the numbers this morning. I was in the Scout members area. And in terms of XG away from home, Man City are top on 18. Chelsea have got the second highest on 13 or 14. Clear Liverpool third. So they're also a very good away attack. Then it's Brentford and Arsenal. So yeah, I think I'm with you, Haaland. But the Liverpool game's a good one to target at the same time. If you want to say a Darwin or a Luis Diaz, I think we can expect points. Darwin should come back into the 11. If we're targeting Crystal Palace, though, Dean, and we're talking about Burmo replacements, and we're not necessarily looking at this week, but we're looking at the next 2 weeks, in terms of the 2-week ticker, there's no better team than Man City. So can we go for a 2-week punt on a Foden or a Doku? You get Luton and Crystal Palace. It does mean it's a short-term transfer, because you probably are transferring that player out for the blank in 18 where City don't play. So you're using more transfers. But if you don't want to go to a Hwang or a Gordon or a Palmer, the more template-y picks, or even a Bowen, the ceiling at Man City when they play Luton and Palace, they could be 2 5-0 matches. But does Doku start? He had a knock midweek. Yeah. Does Foden start? Now Grealish is around. It's a tough one to predict, those two players.
It is a tough one to predict. That flag on Doku is extremely annoying and will prove off-putting from almost everyone, I think. Yeah. Foden will be tempting. I mean, obviously, he's more expensive than Doku. He's 7.5. Only 10% owned, though, Foden.
He's playing well as well, isn't he, Foden?
He's playing well. He could absolutely rip it up.
I'm tempted.
I would be tempted. Yeah, I can see the temptation for sure. But if Doku was definitely playing, I think I'd go there. I think he'd tear Luton apart.
Yeah.
Like that style of play. Look, one of the big downfalls perhaps of Man City recently is that they're playing a bit differently, right? And they're getting a bit more dribbly. I know Doku wasn't playing the other day, but didn't play a significant role in that. But they're changing the way they play. And if you look at what Man City's midfield makeup was in the midweek, it's just not what you're expecting in terms of a City side that would typically dominate a match. And I think this, for me, is part of the reason why not only are they without Rodri, but if you're playing in a midfield that's got Rico Lewis in it, who is perhaps naive, inexperienced, whatever words you want to use. Like, it's not his fault. He's a great footballer, but he can't be brilliant every single week. And when he's in there with John Stones and Julian Alvarez, like that's a huge drop off from times when you've had Rodri and Gundogan and you've had this level of control over games and whoever it is, Silva, whatever. So that's part of my concern about Man City right now. I don't think it'll be a problem for this match particularly, but yeah. And Mark says, how can such a team like City be reliant on one player and Rodri? I think
it's surprising. It's
surprising.
Because they are. Like, there's proof in the pudding there, isn't there? Like, with Rodri earlier in the season, they massively slumped. Again, I even think back to that Champions League final against Chelsea. Out of nowhere, Pep benched Rodri.
Yeah.
They're weak. They're a different team without him.
He obviously knew this was coming, though, because he was tempted to go and sign Declan Rice.
Yeah.
And the fact he had that temptation shows you that there was a problem there. You know, they have Kovacic come in. He's just not that level yet. And
Calvin Phillips was meant to be, though, wasn't he? Was that the Calvin Phillips signing? Was that meant to be the backup to Rodri? And actually, Calvin Phillips was fit, and he goes, "No, I'll play Stones there. I'll play Kanji there. I'll put Ake there. He'll play anyone but Phillips."
That's unbelievable, really, isn't it? I mean, if Phillips is done, I mean, there's no way back from that. So, yeah, very strange one, Mark. There's been some good comments actually in today. I am looking at them all, so do keep them coming in. Nuclear says, Hwang has been so good for me since game week 9. Their best underrated asset. A lot of people talking about Leon Bailey as an option. A lot of thumbs up and fire emojis around him. Aston Villa Bozzy says, Leon Bailey is the cheap Mo Salah. Yeah, interesting one for sure.
It'll be a third start in a week, Aston Villa, Bozzy. What do you reckon? Still good for that? Emery said post-match, I hope he needs to be consistent, and he said something like, I hope he'll do the same against Arsenal. So again, it's insinuating that we can't drop this guy. He did go off, but I think he might have had a bit of cramp or something. But yeah, I have also looked at Bailey.
He's inconsistent, isn't he?
Yeah,
this is the danger.
But that was his best game in a Villa shirt against City.
I mean, it was everyone's best game in a Villa shirt because they played the game of their lives. So it's like I've literally never seen Aston Villa play that well. So yeah, Bozzy, you must be absolutely loving life right now because your team are infectiously good. Like it's just been. You just don't want to stop watching this team at the moment, and that feel good factor could carry him through. Really difficult game to call, actually, Aston Villa Arsenal.
I'm hoping it'll be low scoring, a bit like Aston Villa City was, like 0-0 for a long time. A 0-0 would do me fine there.
Do you think it will be?
I don't know. Arsenal were just involved in a 4-3 against Luton, so they are mixing it up. But Arsenal a month or so ago were pretty tight. Like they have this habit
of small margin wins for sure, but because of the way that Aston Villa play, and they're not going to change it. Like they like to. I mean, you see how many chances they've carved open against Man City. I mean, this could have been more. And typically, Villa aren't a team that only score one goal. Like typically, they will score 2 goals or more.
They average 3 at home, I think.
Yeah, 3 at home. So. I don't think this is a low-scoring game.
Let us know in the chat your predictions. Let's see where we're at. Aston Villa Bozzy is going to come in with a 7-0 win. Last year, Dean, we were like, we out of nowhere, halfway through the season, we had someone that was like ranked 100th in the world, and Ali Hangarov became a chaser. In the chat, I can see Mr. V. Mr. V says he's on 135 rank overall.
What?
Mr. V, can you confirm that? You said you're 135th overall. Is that overall rank of the FPL 10 million plus players? If so, get in our mini league. We'll put the mini league at the bottom of the screen. We want you in there, Mr. V. You might already be in there. I'll have a look.
CGA is the home of champions. So we create champions over here. It was Ali last year. It was me the year before. I won FPL 2 seasons ago. I don't know if you knew that, G, but I
oh, really?
Yeah, I put it under a different name. Name just because you were allowed to have 2 teams back then. And now we're gonna have a winner this season as well. So that is quite the plot twist if we ended up there. He says, I am in your league, G. I'm number 1.
I'm just checking the Chaser Mini League now.
Yeah,
That is
well, he says-
unbelievable. We need to keep more of a close eye on that Chaser Mini League. We got all these worldies in there.
I mean, that's fantastic, Mr. V. Well done. If you got any tips for us or for me or just for the community,
no,
then...
he's not. He's not in there. Number 1 is 970 rank in the chase. Oh, you're talking about my mini
maybe
league?
Maybe it's yours. Maybe he's talking about specifically yours. Have you got your own mini league?
I do. I've got a Janny YouTube one, which again, I definitely haven't looked at in a long time. No, you're not in there either. Oh, no, you're... Hang on.
Says he's number 1, mate.
Yeah. Wow. 135. And there's also 151 Murat. Okay, let's check the Chasing Green Arrows one. I want to see what rank, because again, I think we're going to have... Yeah, okay. We've got someone in at... Yeah, we've got like 1K, 2K. Good going. I'm going to just tell you Mr. V's team so we can see how he's done that. Has he gone differential?
Hold on, let me copy it.
Template. Yeah. Let's have a look. All right. So in his team, Mr. V. Mr. V, are you on Twitter? What's your handle? I want to DM you. All right. He's got Porro. He's got Sanchez in goal, who saved a penalty for 11 points. But again, Sanchez maybe isn't the worst idea. He's got a template midfield, though. Saka and Burmo, Salah, Palmer and Gordon, Watkins, Haaland. He's got Gabriel. He's had Trippier. So he's had a ton of points from Trippier and Porro. He's had Semenyo come off his bench for some points. He's got Simicast and Areola and Lascelles. So it's a very good team, but it's not differential as differential as I thought it would be. It's fairly templatey, but it's the right combination of the template players, which has been
maybe some good captain calls along the way. Yeah, let us know how you got your jumps, Mr. V. Adam Clark says, I'm 1.7 mil if anyone... Sorry, I've lost my voice. If anyone wants to see my team. Adam, I can probably see your team because we're probably side by side, mate, in the overall rankings. Yeah, Mr. V, you need to get in touch with G and you two can have a chat. Lewis is 23rd in your mini league, G, which is pretty good going. How many teams are in your mini league?
I don't even know. I don't even know how I can check that. Not as many as the Chasing Green Arrows one.
No, but I'm guessing you got a couple of under or so, haven't you?
So I've flogged it to death early on in the season on my YouTube channel. Literally every show I was like, please sign up. This is my first year I've done this.
Darwin pick. Big Tips isn't happy with his Darwin pick, I don't think. Obviously, you've got him. He did do a really good tackle that I liked, Darwin, which some people thought was a foul, but I didn't. And actually, I'll tell you what, those boots that Darwin's wearing, same boots I've just got. Me and Darwin have more in common than I ever realised. After slating him last year, look at me now wearing the same boots as him, trying to be him. You've got his hairstyle, I've got his football boots.
He dropped the braids for the midweek game. I'm like, dude, and I looked at his little man bun again. I'm like, they were extensions. You literally clipped on some ponytails.
That's crazy.
They were halfway down his back.
They really were.
And his top knot was so tight and small. I'm like, dude, they were. You literally you clipped on some plaits. I was like, that's as bad as, I don't know, that's as big a hair faux pas as the Conte wig.
That is definitely up there. Yeah, obviously Darwin won me around a little bit, people, but I'll tell you what, who isn't? Nicholas Jackson. He is a dud. What do you want to do next, mate? Where should we?
We should probably start looking at our team, shouldn't we? Because we've got to do your team, my team. I'm doing 2 transfers. You're doing 2 transfers. The Chaser team, we've got 2 transfers. We want to get to some questions as well. So should we crack on with our teams and then do a little bit of Q&A?
Guess so. Let's do it.
Mate, I love Mr. V very much because he's not on social. He's proper old school. I can't Insta DM, can't tweet. He's got a YouTube account. The only way of me getting in touch seems to be through a pigeon.
Pigeon or landline? Have you got a landline number that Gianni can call you on? Let's have a chat. Right. Oh, mate, good. I'm pleased to say your team is up first. I don't want to see my team. What are you doing?
There we go. So I've made a transfer. So the team we are seeing is slightly different. Cash has gone. So Cash is currently on the bench. I've gone Pedro Porro in, which allows me to bench Lascelles. Lascelles, even if he starts, and I think that's highly doubtful now, he ain't keeping a clean sheet against Spurs. Like,
No.
I just can't see it. I know as good as Newcastle defence have been, but Spurs at home score goals. I know they only scored the one last night. If Areola's fit, I'm starting him versus Fulham over Dubravka as well. But again, I think Areola's a big, big risk. Then I need to make another move. Like, it's a 4-point hit this week, and the 4-point hit will, I hope, pay off over the next few weeks because it strengthens my 11 this week, but it will also strengthen my 11 in the next couple of weeks, including that blank game week 18. So Mbeumo has to come out. We know he's out for Sheffield United. He's probably going to be out for Villa, and then it's a blank game week. Oh, and by the way, he's then going to the African Cup of Nations. Like, you want Mbeumo out your team. Don't hold on. Yeah. So if Mbeumo goes, I've got options. We've discussed a few. Like, I don't know what it is about Bowen and West Ham. I just have trust issues with Bowen. Seems to pick up very lucky goals. Goals that come out of nowhere, like from a mistake. Goals that
that was lucky last night for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I'm not going Bowen. Again, with Hwang, I question the ceiling with Wolves players. I do like Bailey. The obvious move here is Gordon. But if I go Gordon, I have the same front 7 players to every single content creator out there. Like, some might have Watkins instead of Darwin, but that midfield will be identical. It's just a little bit boring. And look, Gordon's a good pick, but is he going to get points versus Spurs? No, it's a bad entry point. I think I'd be very surprised if Newcastle score more than 1 goal against Spurs. Sure, after that it's Fulham and Luton, but I could buy him for that Luton fixture if I wanted, although he's only really good at home. So I'm looking at a short-term punt on like a Bailey or a Doku or a Foden. I really like Man City for Luton and Palace. I think that could be huge. So that's where I'm at. It will be Mbeumo out. I'll either go boring with Gordon, or I'll go to Bailey, or I will go to a Man City mid. I think they're my 4 options. I mean, I had previously thought Sterling could be a buy until I watched Chelsea in the week. I'm ruling that one out, I think. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Seems to make sense, mate. Yeah, I think that all sounds good. Resting Pilgrim says he thinks Gordon is tired and thus an injury risk. Yeah, decent point. He
does need a rest at some point. He's playing, and he's got the AC Milan game coming up. Like, at some point, I think. Well, Newcastle are already looking tired, aren't they? Like,
yeah. I mean, look, getting caught in possession like that last night. It makes you wonder. It just puts that element of doubt in your brain about whether this team are starting to tire.
Yeah,
because it's very uncharacteristic to lose in that fashion that they did and kind of crumble.
Yeah,
and I think that'll be proved quite off-putting for a lot of people in terms of trusting those assets going forward. It's a shame about Lascelles being flagged though, because obviously he's been a good value pick.
It's so annoying that. I'm just looking at the Man City fixtures. I'm looking at the time between them to go, if I do punt on, say, a Doku or a Foden, am I backing them for consecutive starts? Because it's not just for 1 week. I'm like, I need them to play against that home game against Palace is even better.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the dates, and obviously they played midweek. They do have a Champions League game on Wednesday night, but that Wednesday night game is away at the club I can never pronounce. Svena Zveda.
Isn't it Red Star?
Is it? What, have they changed their name?
I think that's like it's the official use of their name, but I'm pretty sure that is just Red Star.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong, but
I don't know. Yeah, it's a Red Star Stadium.
Yeah, it's Red Star Belgrade.
But they've qualified top of their group regardless, so they don't need to. They've got nothing to play for. Like they finished top. So the only thing to play for, I guess, is points in the coefficient rankings, for which Pep does not care about because we're
yeah.
So surely Foden and Doku have a good chance of being rested. We'll see players like Bob and Lewis playing, right?
Yeah, you'd imagine there's a decent chance. Really, really difficult time to predict Pep Guardiola, isn't it? Because they need the points on the board now. I mean, it's not completely uncharacteristic for City to have a little blip at this stage of the season.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time we've seen it, and it's not extraordinarily different in terms of one drawn and lost compared to last season. If you take in the games that kicked off just after the World Cup, because obviously this time last year we weren't playing. But he can't afford to fall off here, and he needs to keep his team alert. So, yeah, typically he's not going to take too many risks in a moment like that.
Yeah, and the fact they played Wednesday and now it's Sunday, there's a good enough rest between those two games. Like they obviously, some teams are playing Thursday, Sunday, so Man City get the extra day, or Wednesday, Saturday. And then, yeah, if they're rested for Red Star, which I hope some of the players don't even travel. Like I'm hoping, if I buy Foden, it's you stay at home.
Yeah.
And then after that, the following weekend, it's a Saturday game. So, yeah, I mean, Kevin De Bruyne has been included in the Club World Cup squad, I noticed. So again, he should be back fairly soon. But we're all going to have loads of money.
More than expectation, I think. But yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
be
and
nice.
We can go to KDB when we sell Salah for the AFCON. If you want to.
Or I mean, it's going to make a massive difference in the second half of the season to have KDB as an asset in this game and see how long it takes him to switch it up a gear. But I imagine it will take about 1 week, so that will be, that'll be interesting. I think you're in steady ground, mate. Really.
I think I might end up going Foden or Doku, but I'll see what Pep says in his press conference. Again, predictors, training ground. This could be a Saturday morning move for me. Guys in the chat, thank you. Yeah, knowledgeable. Red Star Belgrade, straight in. Why don't they just call them Red Star? Like even TNT is calling them that name. And
I don't know why that changed, mate. They were always called Red Star for my whole football watching life until about 3 years ago. And then I was like, who's this team that's playing European football?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's Red Star. And everyone's trying to pronounce their name. I was like, why can't I just call them Red Star? If anyone does know the answer to this, do feel free to stick it in the comments because I've never actually looked into it. I just know that whenever someone says that, I just like, no, it's Red Star. Just say that.
If I go Foden, I have the exact funds to go Darwin to Watkins. So again, I can't spend any more than that. And again, I don't see Watkins rising. He's actually fallen in price, so it should be all right there. Thank you guys for all your chats. Keep them coming in. Guys, we haven't pushed once this show, likes or subscribes. Now, I don't want to be beggy, but there's 164 of you watching and only 36 of you have hit the like button. Now, I'm taking that as a personal insult. So if you fancy hitting the buttons, come on. Especially that subscribe one. But do like the channel as well. Let's see Dean's team. And then it's the Chaser team. Stay tuned for that one. We've got moves to make.
Jamie says not everyone wants to be called a name in English. But yeah, but that's fine. You can be called that but like in our own language, like surely it makes sense. Like it's just completely alien the way that they write that name. Like
alien to the rest of the world, and it's probably not good for the club branding.
It's not great for club branding. No,
huge football club from over the years, and we associate them with playing in Europe, and they've won European trophies. Well,
I think that's a strange
this
decision.
other team hasn't.
Anyway, irrelevant for us here. I am getting rid of David Raya. I am getting rid of probably Mark Gahey, and my goalkeeper. I'm thinking Kelleher.
Oh, but you only get him for a couple of games.
I only get him for a couple of games, but I'm just looking for a clean sheet.
What about
playing against Crystal Palace? Where else can I look? Because
at least Dubravka's staying in for a while, or Sanchez.
You see, I'm not trusting Sanchez.
Oh, world number 135, Mr. V's got Sanchez.
Yeah, I know.
Says, what's the league code? Obviously. We'll put it on the bottom of the screen. It is there on the bottom.
It's running across the bottom. Obviously, Dubravka is the one to come. The only reason I might be swayed from that is because if I'm looking for a Gahey replacement, then Tsimikas is actually not a bad replacement to come into the defence. So maybe I'd prefer to have Tsimikas in defence and a different goalkeeper. Otherwise, if I was going to consider replacements for Gahey, look, I'm not averse to going to Everton against Chelsea. It's a bit of a risk for sure, but it would definitely be a differential. If I was to...
It's been amazing.
Braithwaite, Mikalenko's got good form showing for him, so I mean that could be a very left field punt.
Underrated Everton defence. I think that's a good source of points for the festive period. Everton defence.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, because they've had the 10-point deduction. When we're looking at league tables and stuff, it probably like sways us into like resisting the temptation to go there, but it looks like they're going to be all right. So yeah, Branthwaite or Simicast, I think, will be my defender, and then Dubravka or Kelleher will be my goalkeeper. Captain is going to be Haaland against Luton. I'm just half expecting a monster performance from Man City there.
I think we get one. They've dropped 4 points in the last 2 Premier League games.
It's just like, I just can't see that. Like, this is the Premier League champions, European champions against Luton, who are, look, they're doing better than I gave them credit for. Yeah. And I've definitely disrespected them across this season. But I'm going to do it again and say they lose 8-0.
Oh, the disrespect. If there was any Luton fans, they'd be having us in the chat, but I don't think a single Luton fan watches
The reason I'm being this bold is I'm pretty sure no Luton fans watch this.
There's no Man City fans either, to be fair. There we go. I think we're both going to be captain in Haaland. So look, these transfers are going to be centered around, defender move and a goalkeeper move. In terms, I guess, unless we hear in a press conference today that Lascelles or Son are definitely out, you can probably run with those guys. You don't have an Mbermo. He's the definite hard sell. You don't have Cash. He's a definite hard sell. And what you do have, Dean, which many squads don't, myself included, is you've got a playing bench. All 3 of those guys are 90-minute men. Palmer, Maguire, Baldock. So again,
but mate, that's been part of my problem. That's actually
you've been
the last 2 weeks.
Points,
genuinely, I've been like, I've had to make such big calls on the subs that it's actually been costing me points, because like that week, for example, like 13 points between Palmer and Maguire sat on the bench because I just didn't know what we were getting from that Chelsea Man United game. And I was like, well, I don't think either team will keep a clean sheet, so I'll take Maguire out. And Palmer, I just had to make a call on who was more likely to. And the week before, I had Watkins and Lascelles on the bench, and they got 17 points between them. So, oh my God, the week before that, Baldock got 5, Lascelles got 7. This is not paying off for me at all, having this strong bench. So maybe I need to sell them.
But that bench is finally going to come in handy, because you're going to get out of nowhere Lascelles benching or a Son injury, or maybe even you.
Well, hope so, mate.
Yeah. So. I mean, you could bench Gabriel this weekend if you wanted to and go Maguire in. That's much better fixture.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the Chaser team. We've still got 15 minutes. We're going to have time for your questions, but this is where we start doing some polls. So we need the polls because we got decisions to make, baby. We have 2 free transfers. We don't have to use them both. Who do we have that's vulnerable in terms of flags? Well, Mbermo has to go. The others are all probably fine. This isn't a team. Well, actually, we don't have a goalkeeper. I've just remembered. So we need to make a goalkeeper transfer. We need to sell Mbermo. There are 2 moves this week. Do you reckon we keep Areola? Because it's only 0.2 between them, and at some point he'll be a good rotator. So let's sell Turner and sell Mbermo.
Yeah, I think
that gives us exactly 11 million.
So it's Dubravka, basically.
I think so. Should we do the goalkeeper one first and then see how much we got for the midfield?
There's not much of a.
What keeper do you guys want? We'll give you a poll of Dubravka. I don't think we can do Kelleher just because I think Alisson could be back in one game, that United game.
Yeah, I've actually just done my transfers. I have brought in Dubravka and Simicast. I've gone for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you reckon Simicast is all right? Like, many are speculating, always dropped in the week. I just think it's rotation, and he's 100% first choice left back when Robbo's out, and he'll play against Palace.
I really do think he's playing. Yeah. I hope so.
Sokan has said Bentley at Wolves. I haven't looked to see what the injury status is of Wolves' Portuguese number 1.
Jose Sar's flagged, isn't he? Yeah.
Sar, that's it. The name escapes me.
I don't know why that was, but I did notice, because when I was looking at goalkeeper options, I thought Wolves might be a good bet. But then I saw he was flagged. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything in terms of timeline yet, and the fact that I think there's a very short period he could be out the team for. So let's not give Wolves goalkeepers an option, but we'll do Sanchez. We do have 3 Liverpool already, 3 Newcastle already, so we can't do Dubravka.
Oh yeah,
unless we sell Gordon, Lascelles, or Trippier. But I'm going to assume we don't want to do that because we have to sell Mbermo. So look, we can be different. We can do Ederson. Someone suggested Ederson, but again, that doesn't help with the blank in 18, although Areola could be back. So let's poll Sanchez Leno, we got to give Fulham some respect.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Yeah. What about Pickford?
Pickford, mate. I thought he did well.
Everton are all right.
Midweek, Everton looking good. He made saves. I don't know how. Did he end up with bonus points? He seemed to make quite a lot of saves from what I was watching.
Yeah, let's do those three then. So we have Pickford, Leno, and Sanchez. And let's chuck Ederson in if you want to go a bit more expensive. Man City defense is still great, and like we'll think about the blank in 18. Areola could be back for then. So we've got Ederson, Sanchez, Leno, and Pickford. 4 options for you to vote. Don't worry about money. We're going to be downgrading Mbeumo. I think we wouldn't be able to reach a Bowen at 7.5 or a Foden anyway. All these keepers are more expensive than Turner, so it needs to be less than 7 million spent. But we do have to have a keeper. We can't go on with Areola flag there. And Moyes won't tell us. So we're going to go into this game week not knowing if Areola's fit.
Yeah, that's not ideal, is it?
Who are you going to vote for, Dean? I'm going to vote Sanchez for the fixtures. I'm just going to go Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think for a differential for this team, I think that's probably a good place to go. I mean, obviously, you're just throwing it up in the air, saying you've got no idea when you're backing Chelsea players at the moment. But look, they are inconsistent, and when it all comes together, it actually works out. So I think that's a decent place to be. Pickford's probably my.
Okay, looks like it's happening though. Guys, as you're voting, you can also hit the like button if you fancy it. We'd love to get to 100 likes. 100 likes for the end of the stream would be amazing. Guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to do a bit of a Q&A. We've got 1 more decision or 2 more decisions to make. We've got a midfield replacement from Burmo. We've got captaincy. So let's get on with our midfield replacement. We've got 6.4 to spend on a midfielder. 6.4 million to spend on a midfielder. Shall we get some options in the chat? I think we have to give Palmer as an option. Yeah. We don't have Palmer, and he is Chelsea's best player. We spoke about Hwang earlier, so I feel like we should put Hwang in.
Hwang definitely is an option here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Hwang and Palmer. We could put Doku in as an option and go triple City attack. That could be fun.
Yeah, and Bowen, is Bowen affordable?
Can't afford him. 7.5. Yeah, we can't afford Foden.
Wow, yeah, it's way out of reach.
Can we afford Doku? 6. I think we can afford Doku either. Actually, Doku's 6.7. So no, we can't.
No, he's gone up.
We can afford Bernardo. He's the exact money, 6.4. And someone in the chat, Sokan, has said Bernardo.
Mark doesn't like Hwang. He says 4 yellows and off to the Asian Cup.
Yeah, not for a couple of games though. He's got 4 or 5 games to the Asia Cup.
He doesn't definitely get that 5th yellow mark, so you got to play it as it comes.
Good point. What about Kudus? How much is he at West Ham? Because someone's mentioned him. He is 6.6. Can't afford Kudus, but we can afford Bernardo. So we'll do Bernardo, we'll do Hwang, we'll do Palmer, and we can do 1 more. Let us know in the chat. Luis Diaz we can't afford. McTominay we can afford, but meh. Oh, what about the cheap Mo Salah? Leon Bailey says Aston
Leon Bailey, how much is he?
5.5, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's do that. Bailey is option 4.
Yeah.
I'm just checking his price. I think he's 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. Great. Okay, there are 4 guys. Get voting in a sec. Palmer, Hwang, Bernardo, Bailey. I like those 4. I'd be happy with any of them. There's an argument for any of them.
Yeah, it's a good choice to have, isn't it? It's actually quite a nice spot to be in, apart from the fact we'll probably pick the wrong one.
Who are you going to vote for then? If this was your team,
what would I do? Let me quickly consider this. Honestly, my hunch is Hwang.
Is it?
Yeah,
and it's the best starting point in terms of fixture this game week. Entry point. You go Forest.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, Palmer is obviously like becoming an FPL staple at this point, so it's not a bad pick, and I totally understand like why that probably win this. But Hwang is consistently for me Wolves' best goal outlet. I've said this all season without picking him, which is really annoying.
You said that early, actually, when I was banging on about Pedro Neto as a Wolves option. You identified Hwang early. this season.
Mate,
I
I've got to
remember that.
start like doing what I say. Start this in pre-season. I was like, Jarrod Bowen's going to have a really good season. He was in my team right up until about 3 days before the season start, and he hasn't been in my team 1 week. Hwang, I've said, is Wolves' best option all season. Haven't had him once. But yeah, as Nucleus says, vote for Hwang, but obviously the fixtures rule. So Palmer is winning by a landslide, and just can't get away from that, I guess. You know, when
Fair.
people look at fixtures, that's what ends up happening.
All right, let's do that then. Let's go Palmer. Palmer and Sanchez still makes our team a little bit different. We do have Garnacho in there, which is a fun differential. With a good fixture this week, Bournemouth at home's nice. Bournemouth are doing a lot better, but let's confirm that as Palmer. I'm going to tell you guys the bench. If you massively agree, we can vote, but I don't think we need to vote. The attacking spot on the bench is Gordon. Like Gordon benched, you have to start all the others. Gordon, I can't see scoring at Spurs anyway. And then Branthwaite, I think we bench, and Lascelles we bench, and then we start Gabriel, Simicast, Trippier. The only argument there is Gabriel or Branthwaite for a starting 11 spot. But I think we go Gabriel, do we?
Yeah, it's Gabriel. It's got to be, isn't it?
He's
Right.
in terms of goal threat too. At some point,
Yeah.
he's going to score a header. So I think we'll do that for our bench. But we do need to vote for captain. And I think we'll go Salah versus Haaland, and we'll chuck in a Darwin as well. And you can maybe go really differential team because Darwin's going to start this week.
He is. Look, it's a nice squad. It is a nice squad.
It's not looking bad now, is it? He got sent off last year at Selhurst Park, Darwin. I owned him game week 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got sent off early, first half.
I feel like this Palace-Liverpool fixture does throw up some weird ones. Like
it's fun, this fixture.
It is. It's a bit of a chaos one. But yeah, Darwin with my boots on. Now that we're mates, I might have in my team soon. Nucleus said definitely Branthwaite over Gabriel.
Oh, maybe. All right, should we poll that then? I feel like we should probably poll that.
It's got to go to a poll. I mean, if there's people that aren't agreeing with it as an obvious call, then I think it makes sense. You know.
Yeah, Chelsea are rubbish. All right, Branthwaite versus Gabriel for the first bench spot or the second bench spot because we'll go Gordon first sub. And then we're going to do captain vote as well, guys. So 2 very quick fire polls. And we're still going to answer your questions, so don't go anywhere. You're going to have 30 seconds to vote in each of these polls. It's going to be proper quick fire. As soon as you see it, you vote. If you haven't voted by 30, we're cutting it off.
Yeah.
Cool. It's up. Who do we bench?
Bench. Remember, you're not picking to start. You're picking to bench. Let's see what we get. It's got to be tight. Surely.
Oh, okay. We're going to call it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and call it. We are benching Gabriel. Okay. Fair play, Nuclear. Okay, captaincy poll. We're going to again give you 30 seconds. It's Darwin, it's Salah, it's Haaland. Which of the 3 do you captain? In my team, I'm captaining Haaland. Dean's doing the same. But if I was managing the Chaser team, I'd be captaining a Liverpool player that got sent off against Palace last year. The narrative is there.
Yeah. Hold on, there's some quotes here from Arteta on David Raya, which I'm just going to read out. If you look at his form and what he's achieved since he's been with us, it is impressive. I have 3 great goalkeepers and I'm really happy. Yeah, but what's the point of you having 3 great goalkeepers? You're only ever picking one. You said you were going to having a rotation system and you're not, you liar. So David Raya is going to be starting clearly from him saying that. Yeah, go on. So if you were captain, you would go where?
I'd go Darwin.
You go Darwin.
But I'm going Haaland in my team. But I want you guys to pick who you want. But if you want, if this isn't your team, I'll
go Salah. Like if it wasn't, if I was to go anywhere else but from Haaland, I'd be Salah again.
We'll call it in 5 seconds, and then we're going to do a couple of minutes of quick fire questions. We will take 10 seconds on each question and go as quick as we can with alternate. So 5, 4, 3. We're captaining Haaland, baby. All right, Haaland captain.
Good choice. Good choice. It's the sensible one. Right, I'm going to start the question because I can see one jumps out. Any preferred Fulham options comes from Kareem. If I was to rank my favourite Fulham options for this game week, Alex Iwobi is doing really well. Willian is doing really well, and Robinson. So that'd be my 3.
I like that. Next question. Thank you, guys. We'll go proper quick fire. We've got enough time to get through a good 10 questions. Next question coming up. James Ward-Prowse. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Go Kudus or Bowen. Or Kudus if you can't afford Bowen.
I've picked him so many times in my life.
Nah.
Never again. Never again. Don't trust him. Never, ever trust him. I've expected him to miss the open goal. Not because he's a bad player.
He did. He hit the post.
Trent or Trips? At the moment, honestly, I think if you can get to Trent, I think he's the place to go. Like, he's becoming like the heartbeat of that team and like the guy who's a talisman.
Yeah, I like those moves, Nuclear. I prefer going a little bit different with Gordon, but yeah. Pedro's a good shout.
Animations. Bowen in foot and Buemo if money's no issue. Yeah, definitely. 9 goals so far this season. 3rd top scorer in the Premier League.
Dawson for Gahey. What? Wolves Dawson? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean,
if he started, just check his minutes in the last few weeks.
It's not a bad one. Yeah, that's not a bad one. Bring in Trippier or Porro. They're playing against each other, aren't they? Yeah. Trippier.
James, Audio, Palmer and Gordon. I don't want to go Sterling, but Bowen blocks Watkins back. Ooh, well, I don't think there's a question in that. Yeah, go whoever you want to.
Yeah. Would you do Mbeumo cash to Garnacho, Trippier, or Gordon and Porro? Already own Big 5, Palmer. Would you do Mbeumo cash to Garnacho, Trippier? I'm just trying to remember who Man United play. Bournemouth. Yeah.
Means he owns the 8 big attack, the 7 template attackers. If you want to be templatey, guys, then going Gordon and Palmer or buying the one you don't have from Mbeumo makes complete sense. I'm telling you guys, I don't think I'm good. I'm doing that, but that's because it makes FPL so boring if we all own the 7 same attackers. Like every content creator you watch is going to own the same 7. That's not fun. Give me a bit of Foden for 2 weeks. Rich City player. There you go, Foden.
Yeah, there you go. Bench Son or Saka if I had to. Well, Son is flagged. Probably Son.
Do hit that like button, guys. We'd love to get to 100. Bowen replacement, I have Palmer 2.13 in the bank. Yeah, I mean, we've gone through that in today's show. Loads of options. I think I'm going to go Foden.
We've done this one already. Which 3 Villa assets?
Oh, come on, Aston Villa, Bozzy. You know the answer to that.
Yeah, we're literally not answering that. Enzo instead of Sterling, I have Palmer. I wouldn't touch Enzo with a barge pole.
No. And he won't be on pens when Palmer's on the pitch, so don't buy him for pens. Is Mr. Raiola not playing this weekend? We don't know. It was a wrist sprain. He wasn't fit enough for the bench. With only a 3-day turnaround, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him out the squad again. Moyes will not tell us. He's not the type. Look for training photos on the West Ham website and social. You might get a clue or two, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have been told not to photograph him.
Yeah. Which big differential would you recommend this week in any position? I genuinely would be looking at Wolves because if Forest haven't recovered from their drubbing at Fulham and Wolves maintain the form that they've shown at home recently, you're looking at Hwang or Cunha or those kind of guys like actually getting some real joy. So yeah, one of those two or a Wolves defender, I think are good picks.
Good stuff, guys. Do go back and watch the last hour if you're just joining. Do upgrade your attack better than defense, I think. Although I'm going defensive this week. Guys, thank you for watching. Go back and watch the last hour. It's been loads of fun. You've seen our team selections. I've done a little bit more in detail on my channel this morning on my team, if you're interested in that. But as I say, if you're just tuning in, the last hour of chat between Dean and I has been brilliant. We've focused on loads of the injury news as well. But for now, we'll be back on Monday. He's been Dean. Do say a like on the way out. I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing green arrows. See you later, guys.